Hello and welcome along to another video 21 I believe. So what have I got coming up in this video then? Well, what I finally managed to do is to clear out the last of my two Victoria plum trees off my allotment. They're now gone. I've now got a large empty bed and I plan to put some potatoes in there. I've been doing a little work on my rambling roses. I'll give you an update on my tulips, how they're getting on, and crocuses and the spring bulbs which I planted out last autumn and featured in video 14. I'll show you a little bit of that. I'll also give you a quick sort of rundown on some of the other things that's coming up in the garden. Particularly I have a very nice Clematis armandii, which is just absolutely covered in very white scented flowers. So I'll be getting on with that. I'll also be showing you a few clips of my week in Tenerife, which was the week before last. We actually came back on Wednesday, so I'll show you a few clips of that. So that's what we've got. Clearing out the plum trees, having a look at the spring bulbs, having a look at some of the other stuff that's going off in the garden, and finishing off with some clips of my week in Tenerife. So let's get on with it then. We've got 7 tubs and pots of spring flowering bulbs. They've all managed to come through. They're doing very well. So if we look at this blue pot here, what I started with originally was tulips in the bottom. I started off with a 20 tulip pink shades as Miss Elegance, Finola and Cedia Amore, and they're in the bottom and they're doing really well. I can just see them poking their noses out the top. But I wanted to add a little bit of colour and a little bit of early colour to the tubs. So once I'd planted the tulip bulbs in the bottom, I then put another couple of inches of soil across the top, and then I planted out some crocuses, which, as you can see, they're doing really well. And even in this really cool spring sunshine, they really do come out quite well. So over in this black tub, Again, originally I started off with 3 shades of white tulips. We have Happy Generation, Spring Green and Elegant Lady. Again, they all went in quite deep in the bottom, and then once I'd done that, I put a couple of more inches of soil across the top, as I did with the blue tub, and I planted out some crocuses, and these look absolutely fabulous. I'm really pleased with the way that they've turned out, and the 2 tubs are doing exactly what I wanted them to do at this time of year. It'll take another month or so before the tulips finally reappear and get flowering, but the crocuses certainly do give an early feature. In this first pot I've got a pot of Rasta Parrot. The second and the third pots along, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really sure what's in there now, because I seem to have mislaid the labels for them, but as you can see they're all germinating and they're all coming through quite nicely. This is a variety of tulip which I'm not sure about either, but they've got daffodils with them as well. And then in this last low vase I've got anemones and I've got crocuses. And then if we just have a quick look at this final black tub, again a really nice showing of tulips, and that's chocolate and orange. Again, I think there's probably, I don't know, 15-20, and they're going to flower April and May. So between now and May we should have quite a nice display of tulips and crocuses, which is exactly what I intended for it to happen. I featured these in one of my earlier videos where I'd sort of cut them back and then I was just feeding them in loops across the top, because once they flower that's the best way to actually view them. And we've got three rogue stems sticking out here, so what I'm just going to quickly do is to feed them back through, and if they won't feed back in I'll just catch them with a cable tie. Again, it's quite easy to do it at this time of year before they get too much foliage on them, and you start setting out the flower shoots. And down here what we have is a very old stem from previous years, so I'm just going to snip that off there and just unfeed it from around there. If you've ever caught... And now that the old stem is out of the way, I'll just gently feed this rather straggly branch through the wire, and then it should be okay. As you can see on this white rambling rose at the moment, we've got lots and lots of shoots, little small shoots about 1 inch or 2 inches in length. Now they're going to be the flowering spikes for this coming year. Now for this rambling rose I need to get the ladders out. Let's see if I can get them to behave themselves. And what I'm actually doing now is going up and I'm just securing 1 or 2 loose branches on the Rosa Valschenblaum. This is a a mauve hybrid multiflora rose cultivar, and it's the best known of the violet ramblers. So other names are blue violet, blue rambler, blue rosaline and violet blue. The cultivar was bred by Hermann Kies in Germany in 1909. So in effect what I have in the back garden is I have the white rambling rose on one side of the garden, which comes out quite early and to be honest is finished in about sort of 5 weeks. Then a little bit further down the garden I have the pink one, which again stays out for a little bit longer, but this Valschenblau is the star of the show really. That stays out for quite a long time and it's an absolute fantastic rose. What I will do once it's out fully, I'll feature it in another video and then you can see for yourself the effect. But together with the Clematis armandii, going through and climbing up through the Valschenblau, it makes for a fantastic show. So while I've got the ladders out, I'll give you a real close-up of this Clematis armandii, and you can see some really good strong shoots that's going up through the rambling rose. The flowers are sort of slightly off-white. They're slightly scented. Beautiful plant at this time of year. We planted this about 3 years ago and it was a substantial plant when we bought it from the garden centre, but it's really sort of performed extremely well. Really pleased with it, and I did manage to get a cutting from it last year. I took about half a dozen cuttings after it had finished flowering, and there was only one that survived, but I potted it on recently and it had a fantastic root system. So this is an absolutely brilliant plant. We really like it, and as I said earlier, what I'm trying to do is to incorporate the Clematis in amongst the rose. The rose provides the structure and the armandii can then hang on to it. There we go, we're going right round the corner here now. And again, as I do with all my rambling roses, I loop them over and then they start to, when they produce the flowers, then you get the best effect from them. So, a highly recommended plant for this time of year, Clematis armandii.